Welcome back to UrbanX TV. Thank you for joining us. I am Malcolm. Today I have a special guest. I'm here with my good friend, classmate, old high school teammate, my man Lionel Rice, because this month, we're in March, is National Athletic Training Month, and I like to celebrate people in our community doing dope things. And my man Lionel has been doing some dope things. He's been an athletic trainer for the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, he's working with the Michigan State Spartans. He's been with a bunch of other teams as well. And I'm going to let him introduce himself. But Lionel, welcome.
I appreciate you for having me, brother.
No doubt,
and,
man.
Like Malcolm said, man, we go back to the high school days. We go back to winning a high school championship together at Mount St. Michael. We've been good friends ever since. Yeah, they ringed us. They ringed us over Cardinal Hayes too.
Yes,
but,
yes.
We go way back, and I just appreciate the fact that he has me on here just to speak about it is National Athletic Training Month, and I kind of been all over, like you said. Graduated with 2 degrees, one from King's College, the other one from Cal U of PA, both in athletic training. Actually beginning my doctorate in athletic training in 2 weeks. And while still doing this, and I've did 2 stints in the NFL as a seasonal intern, one with the Minnesota Vikings, the other one with the Jacksonville Jags.
That's right.
Also was at a HBCU as a resident athletic trainer down at Bethune-Cookman, worked with their track and field and their football team. And then I did 2 years at UTSA, FBS team down in Texas in Conference USA. And they're a young program, so I was able to make a stamp there as my first full-time. And now I've been here with the Mel Tucker and the Michigan State Spartans, man, and we had one hell of a year. We had one hell of a year, man.
So before we go on, I want you to explain what athletic training is, because I think if you're listening right now, if you're like new to, I guess, the profession, you might think of a professional, like a personal trainer, and that's not what it is. I took 1 semester of athletic training because remember that was supposed to be my major.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, all right, let's get it. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. This is way more in depth than what I was expecting. This is not what I was expecting. So it was 1 semester. I passed my classes, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. So can you explain to the people what the profession actually is and what it entails?
Definitely. So the one thing, like Malcolm just hit on, we're not personal trainers, and it's easy to get mixed up. It's easy to get mixed up if you're a personal trainer or if you're a coach. The amount of times that I get that question, whether it's at a family dinner table or whether I'm just walking around and they just see the logo that's being worn, the first thing they want to ask, are you a coach? But once you mention athletic trainer, we're healthcare professionals first, and it took us a little bit it's still taking some strides and some strives to have some people understand that. So we're the first line of defense when it comes down to athletes. And, myself and you, we've been athletes, and collegiate and high school athletes. And, we had our fair share of, injuries. So we're the first people. Yeah, we're the first ones to be that line of defense for guys to get back to the field, and just to evaluate and figure out exactly what's going on. So we evaluate, we rehab, we provide that healthcare. And even when it comes down to, the things this past 2 years with COVID, we was the first people that had to figure it out for sports to come back. And, I'm big on humbly saying, sports wouldn't have made a return without athletic trainers all worldwide, from high school level all the way to the pros. There was days and nights when everybody's calling everybody, trying to figure out, well, what's the plan that you got? What's the plan that you got? So we all had to come together as an athletic training healthcare professional community. We had to collab with doctors. We had to collab with infection officers just to figure out how to bring it back. So I think right now is the best definition of an athletic trainer, and to distinguish us from, that personal trainer, is that we're healthcare professionals. We're not just stretching. We're not just taping. And the world sees us as glorified water boys, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that lets these athletes be successful, and that's the biggest part about it.
Yeah,
I get the best feet on game day.
I didn't even think about when you brought up COVID just now. I didn't even think about like that connection towards sports and you guys having to figure that out because, like I said, I took a semester of those classes in college and I was just like, wait, I this turned into med school quick. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really, really
Right,
in depth stuff, and you guys
right,
have to know that. So what? Actually, what even like drove you to the profession, like coming out of high school?
right. And we both know that at Mount St. Michael, no matter what, no matter as great as the school is, we didn't have an athletic trainer in high school,
Sure.
and that was definitely detrimental. Now that I look at it as a professional now, compared to when we was in high school at the time, because what drove me was the simple fact, not having that actual athletic trainer and knowing that the St. Anthony's and the Chaminades, they all had athletic trainers, so it's like they get in that care because whether it's just one athletic trainer or two athletic trainers, or if you have athletic training students that come from another college, the thing that drove me. Okay, now I'm sitting on her that minor knee surgery, and we could have had a line of defense in house to help that, and I just was like, I want to jump into it because the physical therapist that I worked with to get back for that junior year championship game was she kind of like put me on, and from NYU, and she kind of put me on to the fact of, okay, so you want to do medicine, but I didn't want to take too much chemistry, so I'll feel you on that. I didn't want to take too much chemistry. I didn't want to do all that. So she's like, why don't you get into athletic training? So the main thing that she told me as well, and she was half Spanish, half Black. She's like, hey, there's not a lot of African Americans in this profession right now. So I just saw a door, an opportunity that I was like, not only do I get to still be around sports that I love, but I want to do medicine of some sort. And not just that, but I want one day to hopefully put somebody in a position where there's somewhere that needs an athletic trainer, or advocate for somebody to get an athletic trainer, so that they don't have to go through the fact that they don't have somebody in the first line of defense to help them out. And, I'm not knocking, coaches held us down. Coach Mo, Coach, they all held us down, and they have an athletic trainer now, and that's great.
Yep.
They have an athletic trainer now, and that's great. And they have an athletic trainer.
Yeah, now as well.
Exactly. So they have a athletic training room, and that's great. There's things like that made me want to get into it because it's something that I want to advocate for, just so they nobody gets left out.
So, what have you seen? Because you've named like 5 or 6 places that you've been in, traveling, and with your work. What are some key differences you've noticed from like staff to staff?
The key differences, staff to staff, and it's really everybody has their own style, man. You develop you develop best off experiences. And that's how I look at it. And I was able to see different styles of how to get to the same goal, how to get to the same outcomes. There's a thousand ways to skin a cat. There's 1,000 ways to get somebody back from an ankle sprain. There's 1,000 ways to put together certain rehabs for somebody who just got ACL. There's 1,000 ways to help that track runner get back to sprinting how they need to sprint, treating different things. And I was able to see different styles to try to mold my philosophy that I have today.
Gotcha.
So the best thing that was good was seeing different people execute in the athletic training room when it came down to their operations of being a clinician. So the best thing too was seeing how different styles and different approaches of basically trying to organize, So seeing different styles of, okay, who's going to handle this? Who's going to handle that? Who's going to handle that? And then not just that, but also, especially here at Michigan State, like I'm one of the liaisons for concussions, like collecting concussion data. And also we all, as a football staff, we all have hands on deck for concussions. But, that's one of the biggest things in football. So I was appointed as the liaison to help out with research and data collection with our neurologists and our docs and I'm sitting in on these Zoom meetings with Ivy League schools and Ivy League docs and people from Columbia, people from NYU, people from all over. And I'm just seeing like different styles once again of what's being used for concussion research, what's being used for data collection, what's being used for concussion eval, you know? So it's things like that, because at the end of the day, the best thing about me jumping around, like being in different rooms so early on, I was able to develop my philosophy from being a sponge.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
So, and you mentioned you've interned or you've worked at some places within the NFL. Then on the other end of the spectrum, I guess at like the collegiate level, sometimes like low collegiate levels, like early on programs. Like, was the difference in resources like that noticeable? I'm sure it is, but like you were actually in it. Like, how was that?
Right. And I mean, in all honesty, you know, like I said, I've been at an HBCU and Bethune-Cookman. I'm gonna go ahead and shout them out. The great Bethune-Cookman. That's how they address themselves. And you know, aside from, I mean, the NFL is the NFL. You know, the resources are through the roof.
Right.
You know, being at the HBCU, and then I went from Bethune to the Jaguars to UTSA. That was building up. You know, gotcha. And just seeing across those lines, you know, at Bethune is one of, and just like what Coach Prime is doing right now, he's trying to, you know, get it to where HBCUs don't have to be, well, you know, it's an HBCU, they don't have this, they don't have that. They should be able to have the same thing, because they D1 and there's D2 schools that's getting better resources than them.
Right.
You know, so the thing that Bethune-Cookman showed me was that, you know, I can't just get on the phone and say, hey, you know, I need so-and-so because this is going to help them out to get them back. I have to have a plan B. I have to have a plan B of how am I going to, since I can't have that resource or that modality due to the resources that's available or due to the monetary money budget that's available. Okay, now I can't utilize this modality. I can't utilize this. So now I need to have a plan B. So that's when I start realizing, okay, well, you know, I really don't need much. I'm just going to go ahead, you know, we'll jump on the main therapy, we'll jump on the rehab, and we'll jump on this. So that's kind of what it was. I'm one of those clinicians that I don't really need much, to be honest. And I'm glad Bethune showed me that, because, you know, coming out the gate out of school after getting my master's and going straight to Minnesota Vikings, I had the bells and whistles, you know, I had it all. I had the silver bells. I had it all. And, you know, being able to go to Bethune-Cookman and be able to know, okay, you really don't need all that. Right. You know, you don't need all that. You could get back to the meat and the potatoes of what we do, and which is really the best thing that I always heard was that your best modalities are your hands. You know, gotcha. You got your thumbs. We the only species on this universe with thumbs, so you know we might as well use it. And I think that's the main thing, because then I jumped to UTSA, and the culture there was amazing. You know, it's ran by an African American named Dan Bellamy, and he's a great mentor to me. And he's helped me have the clarity of, you don't need so much. You know, you don't need this. You don't need that $3,000 laser. You don't need this. You don't need all that. Like, all you really need, once again, it goes back to all you need is your two hands and your knowledge, you know, and a couple resistance bands, maybe in some space, because we was working out of a double wide trailer until, you know, I'm happy that they got the facility that they got now, because they definitely needed it. So, but we was working out of a double wide trailer for 2 years. Wow. With limited space, and most of the sports was working out of there. So once again, I was able to not having all those resources, I was able to form the philosophy. Okay, I don't need much. Like, you know, I'm gonna get to it with certain things. It's great to have, and I'm blessed to have it. But you know, if at any point I know what's gonna make it work with what I got, you know. So yeah, that's good. I mean, it was good to see that the HBCU had great doctors available to them. So that was a big resource I was glad to see. You know, they had doctors that advocated for them, that picked up the phone and was able to make things happen as if they was University of Florida, you know? So that's what's great. So, but nonetheless, less resources or not too many, it still got made happen across the board.
So you mentioned like you having a African American mentor. How
Yeah.
has you? How have you? How has your journey as a black man and somebody who's going through this profession? How have you? How has your experience been? I guess in like for good, for better or for worse.
Right. So, I mean, all honesty, like undergrad and my mentors in undergrad were amazing. They put me in position to get this far. But I was the only black man in that class,
Mm,
And then before that, there was only one that graduated and that was African American. And he was from New York too. He was from Poughkeepsie.
mm,
And um go then fast forward to my master's class, like my grad cohort. Once again, I was the only African American in there. But I think the best part that it was with doing that, and sometimes, with being the only colored person in the room, you seem like you gotta put more pressure on yourself. Of course
mm,
we do, because the mentors that I have in this game that are that are very diverse and everything, they always straight up gave it to me straight up, 100% real. They said, everybody's under a microscope, but you being African American, you're just gonna be under a small under like your microscope is not that big of a field of view.
mm.
So, it kind of put a chip on my shoulder to grind as hard as I can, but at the same time maximize and understand that, okay, obviously the elephant in the room is that I'm the only African American, but nonetheless, my presence is a present,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I made it as. I turned it into, because a lot of people look, a good amount of people is going to look at it as a negative. Okay, there's something wrong with the simple fact that you really the only African American as you
Right.
stretch along. Even at the Bethune-Cookman, I was the only African American.
Wow.
Yes, and I tell people this, at the HBCU, I was the only African American athletic trainer
Wow.
for
That's
football.
good.
Yeah, man. So it just goes to show, statistic wise, there's only 10% of black athletic trainers, man.
Wow.
There's only 10% of us. And especially at different levels, if you was to break down that 10%, it's small at the top levels,
Hmm.
It's small at the top levels. It's maybe higher in the high school athletic training aspect. And of course, like in the pros, like you see a good amount, and you just hope that staff members and admins, they don't want to just check a box.
Right.
You hope that when they hire African Americans like myself, and they let me fly here. I
Mm.
love it here, and I love it everywhere that I've been. But everywhere that I've been, they let me fly. They didn't just say, okay, we're looking for a minority hire,
Hmm.
let's go get him. Or in an interview, they're like, well, what's this, what's that, and they like it, like, we really like them, let's take them just to check a box. My
Yeah.
director here, I have so much love for her, and she's in the NATA, National Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame,
Mm.
and she lets me fly. The head athletic trainer here, he lets me fly. And another thing that's good is the fact that our athletic director, he's a person of color. Our head coach, person of color.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
then there's three of us on the staff. The head women's basketball athletic trainer and head women's soccer athletic trainer, they're both African American
That's tough.
females.
That's tough.
And that's even a smaller percentage in this profession. So,
Hmm.
the best thing was that I used it as a chip on my shoulder, but I used it as another reason that, okay, I need to take that extra step. Like,
Right.
I can't be out here just doing the bare minimum. And the best thing that I did is that I didn't just stand out just because I was the only colored person in the room. I stood out because, okay, he knows his stuff.
Hmm.
He knows how to do this. He knows how to do that. He got this certification. I'm big on mentoring too. I mentor all across the board.
That's tough. That's
Yeah,
good.
man. The best thing I did, the Minnesota Vikings, the staff members there, they're big on pushing the
Mm.
minorities. And the best thing that I could say, and I humbly say this, but the work that I did there, I was able to create kind of a pipeline. Like, I joke with them all the time. I'm like, y'all got a little Lionel pipeline there. And I sent somebody there as a seasonal almost every other year. Every single year I sent the summer. I have our student here this year. He's African American male in our master's athletic training program. He's going to the Vikings. I have another female. She's going to the Chiefs. So,
That's what's up.
you know, it's all about that, you know, and it's big right now. Like the glass is shattering, and
I like it.
it's shattering for not only the female athletic trainers, because that's big. I mean, my director here, she shattered the whole glass. She was the first female head athletic trainer for a Power Five, and she's been here for years, so she done seen it all. But at the same time, it's shattering because of diversity amongst minorities. You know,
Right.
it's up there, and it's going, and it's no longer just we have that box check. We have a minority. Let's just have him do what he can to keep him here and keep him or her out of trouble type deal. It's more of like, okay, like let's push this envelope so everybody's on board with that. So that's the main thing. But nonetheless, you know, for myself, like I said, it was just more of a, okay, like let's go harder. Let's keep going hard. Let's step in the room. Let's step in the room and shake hands and let people understand what you're about type deal.
So,
yeah, man.
I have a couple more questions for you, but one of the questions, and side note, I think y'all running back at Michigan State got robbed. That's just me. That's just me.
He got robbed.
I think he got robbed.
He got robbed.
I think he should have got that Heisman, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But I see on social media that a lot of the players really connect with you, and at a few different places you were at. How were you able to build that connection with these players? You know, as a trainer, why is that important?
Right, and that's the key. You know, and that's the key, and that's one thing I want to touch on. Not just the fact of, you know, being passionate in this, and you know, you gotta, you know, the cliche of you gotta love what you do, which I truly do. Which we, you know, everything we put our efforts into, you know, we gotta love it. You know, and it's not just that cliche. It's not just that basic. Like, we are athletic trainers. So the one thing I always tell my athletes, you know, you're the athlete. I don't have a job without you. You know,
right.
I don't have a job without you, man.
Right.
Like, I'm an athletic trainer. Like, if without you, I don't have food on my plate. My family don't got food on their plate. But at the same time, without you, like, I can't do what I love. Like, I really love this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so building the relationships with the players in the professional way is what is needed. And I think the importance of this is that I'm myself, you know, I'm myself. Like, and that's why I tell, and that's what everybody across the board that's seen me or been in the same athletic training room as me or has been on myself, like has been on the same staff as myself, is that I'm always going to be me everywhere I go. I don't have to put on a face and then take it off when it's time for me to leave.
Right.
And once they see that authentic, and once they see not just the fact that I played football too, especially with the linemen, like not just the fact that I played football too, not just the fact that, of course, the sport is dominated by African Americans, but no matter what background, ethnicity, white, black, Asian, Spanish, you know, I've had the blessing and the humility to know that I connected and made an impact on a good amount of athletes along my way, whether they're older than me, same age, everything. I still talk to a few of the pro players too, like almost like on a weekly basis.
What's up?
I remember when I was with the Jags and Adrian Peterson was playing for the Washington Commanders now, but when he was playing for them and we played them, he saw me while he was doing a pregame drill. He came up to me, dapped me up. He's like, "Yo, what's up?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you, AP, I didn't think you was gonna remember me." He's like, "How could I not remember you? Like, you helped me out."
That's what's
I was
up.
like, "Hey, you know, it's things like that." And you know, Teddy, same with Teddy Bridgewater. Like, you know, still seeing him prosper after what he went through, and me being there, like it's things that it's man. And seeing him prosper, like I still cheer these guys on, and that's what it's about, because they see that I'm really for them. They see that on their worst day, I'm gonna put my arm around them and say everything's gonna be good. Let's get to it. And then on their best day, I'm gonna be cheering for them as loud as I can. But we with them so much, you know, we with them so much. We see them at their lowest, we see them at their highest. And at some point, it's not just okay, you just here just because you're my patient. At some point, they're looking at you like, okay, like you taking care of me, you took care of me, you played a big role in my life, and literally no nothing is better than seeing your athlete ball, you know, especially after them going through something or seeing them on a daily basis. Like right now, the stigma of mental health is huge. So, athletes nowadays, they really need that. And it's who else better can it come from other than their coach?
Right.
Other than their coach, the people that care for them, for their health professionally on a daily basis. And like I said, that's it has to be built professionally. Like the main thing that I tell my mentees, and I tell, people that I give advice to, I'm like, hey, I'm myself. So I kind of, in a humble way, people gravitate towards me in a way, just because of the energy I bring. I bring a lot of passion, high energy to the athletic training room. So they like that. They like seeing that I'm dapping them up, during the stretch line. The coaches like seeing that too. They want that because it's a team effort. It takes a village. And that's the main thing. Like that's a key. Like you gotta have the locker room behind you. Because if you don't, at the end of the day, it's what they say. It's what they say, it's how they feel. And you no matter what people say, you gotta have your athletes back because if they don't trust you, they're not gonna come to you. They don't come to you, it don't matter what you know. You could
total sense.
If you could have straight A's in your ATEP classes, and you could have got the highest grade on the BOC. You could have passed your BOC on the first try. You could have passed it early. You could have 5 degrees. Don't matter. You can know the athletic training manual from front to back. But if these athletes don't trust you, how you going to show them that you know what you're doing? Right. It's things like that. And it's just best to just build a good professional relationship with them and cheer them on, man. Like, how could I not? Like when I seen Ken, when I seen Ken balling out on the side and he took it how many yards from the first play line of scrimmage, I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. It's over. Yeah. Like this is our season now. Yeah. And I'm cheering for him. And he had a chip on his shoulder because, he transferred from another school and this was his shot, this was his big break. And it's just things that, that he spoke about that was a lot that I saw come to fruition. Like he wrote a lot of things down and he hit all his goals and he has a lot more goals that he want to hit. And I'm just excited, man, and I still talk with him. I still talk with a lot of my other athletes that's balling out right now. Even my old athletes from UTSA, they still hit me up. And I seen 3 of them in the combine this past week. And I'm like, it's just great to see it. Right. Things that they spoke into existence that they worked hard for, so that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like a lot of people gravitate towards you. Full disclosure, Lionel's house in high school was a spot.
Yes, it was. And spot. You want to know something? What's funny is like, and I always reminisce on those days too. And it's crazy, the one thing that my mom always says, like when she comes to visit, and this is our second house right now, and it's 2 floors, and she came for a Super Bowl weekend this year, and she saw like a lot of my coworkers was over and everything, and I have the from different departments, not even just my department. And the one thing she said, yo, everywhere you go, like some way, somehow you bring everybody together. And I'm like, that's really, it's a gift that's hard to her to come by. And I realized it because she's like, I just remember, how big, and you in all honesty, how big my house was in Soundview, bro. And we all packed in there like sardines, chilling, but we had a good time. You feel me? Yes. Whether we had to be in the backyard or whether we had to be inside, we all there chilling, man. Yep. And, it's something that I carried along since then, and every single time I always think about it, like every single move I made, every single career step and every single success step, even the tough days, I just think about it. It's funny that you bring that up because I'm like, man, we came a long way, and the fact that all together, no matter what I know as a clinician, no matter what I know as an AT, it's personality is. You got to have some of it, and part of personality, being able to bring people together. That's what it's about because it's a teamwork aspect out here, man. Football's a team sport.
Yeah, from top to bottom, like, and not just players and coaches, but like it takes all of y'all for that to go.
Right, man. And like, we got to be on the same page as strength. We got to be on the same page as our dietitians, man. Right, we got to be on the same page as our doctors. So we gotta be on the same page all across the board. And when just like we do here, when that happens, like the wheel rolls. And when it rolls, we go ahead and we go 11-2 and we win ourselves a New Year's Six championship. You know what I'm saying? And it's the sky's the limit.
Right.
The sky's the limit. And that's the main thing that I tell like people that I mentor, that I tell the students. I'm like, hey, like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it don't matter what you know, just make sure you're yourself. And if you yourself and what people don't like it, then so be it. At least you yourself,
right.
You know. But be yourself and find a way to connect to people around you. You know, colleagues, you know, people that's on the support staff as well. You know, you got to try to find a way to connect with people because this is a people business, man.
Right.
So,
and so my last question: what is like your big goal for yourself in this profession? Like, what is like this will be it for me if I hit this.
Right. And it's crazy because I actually not too long ago spoke with my director here and my mentor Dan as well, like about this. But you know, like I mentioned in the beginning, like I'm starting my doctorate in about 2 or 3 weeks, and it's a doctorate in athletic training, and it's I told myself I was never gonna go back to school. Like that was it. I was good. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good. I'm just gonna get these certifications. You know, I'm gonna get the CEUs, and we're gonna be good. But you know, here they really put me in position, a great position at that, to be in the bridge on the educational side, on the clinical education side, on the concussions research side, which my first research paper in undergrad was on concussions because, you know, playing the sport of football, I wanted to dive more into that, you know, right. And my philosophy and the philosophy here on our staff, especially with Michigan State being big behind rehab and manual therapy, you know, I'm big on movement being medicine. Like, you know, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it, you know? So I'm big on that type of rehab. So I'm big on rehab and concussion research. And I was able to get this doctorate degree and started with getting having a track of being emphasizing those two things. So with that being said, you know, at some point, my long-term goal is to be a director of either chief of medical or athletic medical or football medical, or a director of some sort of like football athletic performance and or sports medicine, you know, and I'm on track to, and that's something down the line, but you know, as a director, you know, I'll be able to still, you know, not just oversee those type of things, but I love being in the trenches too. So I love being on the sideline. You know, I love being on the sideline. I get a rush from it.
I caught you on the TV a couple of times.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it, bro. And I love being on the sideline. And I love being I love just being in the trenches. I love being on the floor doing the rehabs. I love getting my hands dirty, you know, type deal. And that's why you know, I want to be in a position where I'll be able to still do that, but still be in the sense of still pushing the envelope for concussion research, for what's the best rehab outcomes and things like that. So that's why, you know, at some point I'd rather do that and be an associate football athletic trainer still, while having that type of like director position to bridge those two things, you know? And this is where I want to be. You know, I'll tell you right now, this is where I want to be. Power 5 was where I want to be, and Michigan State was the best opportunity, and it's definitely where I plan on being to reach my long-term goals. So I plan on running it up here in a nutshell. I plan on running it up here and just taking all the steps I need to, because I get to mentor, I get to still help put other people in position to what they want to be. And at the same time, I get to still better myself. I'm still a student to the game, you know. At no point am I even close to where I want to be. So every single day, like I'm telling you, I tell my wife herself, she's like, yo, you always got another plan, and you just execute it. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that's what it's about. Because the minute that I get comfortable in this, the minute that I stop looking up the up-to-date medicine or what other things I could do to bring to the table for my athletes and my colleagues, then then what am I doing? I might as well just put my retirement papers in early at 28. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the one thing I always remind myself too, because that's the long-term goal. But I soak it all in, man, because I'm only 28, and I just look back. I look back at the resume, and I'm like, the laps was hard to run sometimes. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. The laps be hard to run. I mean, you're an author and you got your thing booming too. So I know you had your up days and your down days, and that's what it's about. Right. But when you feel that pressure, man, that shows that you're doing it right. And that's kind of how I be. I feel the pressure of, damn, I got to go back and now I got to do research papers again for class. I got to maintain a 3-point what? Yeah. Hold up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? FAFSA didn't do what? I got to come out of pocket for that? You know what I'm saying? I got to come out of pocket. But, nonetheless, I love it, man, because not only am I trying to, just create longevity as a family man and, of course, keep increasing my monetary value. But like I said, man, if I didn't have passion of what goal I was trying to reach and be where I'm at now, where I'm at, with the team that I'm part of, with the students that I get to teach and mentor each day, and with the colleagues that I work with, and even with the colleagues that I worked with in the past that I have as mentors that are damn near like family to me now. I couldn't see myself being in the big position that I'm in now. But like I said, nonetheless, I'm nowhere near, and I'm humble. I'm humble to know how good I am right now, but I'm humble to know that I'm nowhere near. You know what I'm saying?
That being said, Lionel, I am so proud of you, man. Like, you have no idea. Like, I just be watching, and I'm so glad we got to do this.
Facts,
man.
man.
And this is so dope, and I learned a lot. And the passion for what you do, it really just kind of radiates through the screen. And next time you in the town, or when I'm out there, we gotta let the kids get up. Get up, let the kids hang out.
Definitely, man. I plan on being out there. Well, we got spring ball coming up, so I plan on being out there before we pop out number 2 in June. Right. So, I got you, man. Like literally, probably like May, like mid-May. I'll be out there trying to come out there for the B-Day. You already know we gotta let the kids get together.
We got to.
Gotta let the kids get together. It's still crazy sometimes. Look at it, how me, you, and Lewis are all 3 dads. Flip is a dad. Yeah. Everybody's dads, man. It's crazy, man. But yeah, nonetheless, I appreciate you for having me, man. No what you're doing is great. I love seeing it. Love the book, love everything, man. It's just great. Your story is amazing too, brother. You done took one route and said, hold on, let's reroute, and you're reaping the benefits of it, man.
Thank you, man.
We gotta bet on ourselves, bro. We gotta bet on ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so with that being said, I'm Malcom. This is Lionel Rice. His information will be in the description below, so you can follow him up on the gram and stuff like that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And peace.